Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Steve, thank you so much for that warm welcome. Thank you for watching at home. Joining us today is journalist and speaker Farah Nasser. Our guest. Love having you here.
Love being here. Also, my lipstick is really dark. It might end up on my teeth at some point during the show.
I'll let you know.
There we go.
I'll let you know.
That's
hey,
friendship.
guess what, you guys? Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, they were seen looking pretty happy together on a red carpet. At least for the premiere of Kiss of the Spider-Woman. J.Lo is the film's star and Ben is executive producer. And their public display of affection left fans wondering if there's still a spark between them. So do you think that there is something there, or maybe this was just a publicity stunt? What do you guys think?
I don't know.
See, they don't even care. They don't even care.
Everyone's over Bennifer. That was like, 2005. But I don't know if it's a publicity stunt as it is a well-coordinated PR campaign.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, look, you put these two together, a movie's gonna make money. There's no...
He was the executive producer, so he's not in the movie, I don't think.
But
he's the executive producer.
He's not. It's not like Julie or whatever.
That's right.
He's executive producer, but even just like she brought her twins out, she wore that dress that's very Spider-ish. I don't know if you saw it there, and then they're whispering. Like, I think they want attention to this movie, and they're trying to get it. What I'm wondering is what he said to her in that little whisper session. I think you know what I think he said?
What?
I think he said, "Third time's the charm, Jen."
No, really?
Garbage. You know what I think he whispered? Do you think they're buying it? That's what I think he whispered. Do you think they're buying it? Because I agree with you. I think we've seen lots of, co-stars do this. Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell did this on the red carpet for their movie. And the are they, aren't they? We love that. Yeah. I love that kind of celebrity salacious gossip. But with these two who keep circling the block, I don't know about you guys, but I'm over it.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like there's a bit of hypocrisy. She was on the Today Show the day before that red carpet, and Craig Melvin, who's an anchor on the show, asked her about Ben. Now, he's a part of the project, so he can ask. They also did a whole series about the best love story never told. So she opened up that door for people to forever ask her about Ben, and she got her feathers ruffled a bit, like, this guy is what she said.
Oh,
and
I thought she handled it pretty well.
No, she was irritated.
But she was irritated. She was irritated. She was irritated. So for her to do that with Craig, and then the very next day to show up on the carpet with his arm, with Ben's arm around her waist, I'm like, what is it? Do you want us to care, or do you want us to not care?
Yeah.
Do you want us to ask or not ask? And I'm gonna say, I'm never gonna ask. You know why? Because I don't care.
But lots of people do. This definitely
people do. I care. I'll be honest, I care a little.
I don't think it was a publicity stunt. I actually think it's possible that they are like me and they are actually just friendly exes.
Oh
Is
my
it possible?
God.
Just like amicable divorce energy.
It's just amicable divorce.
I agree.
Right? That they just
I think it's two adults being adults. You know why else? Because I don't think Ben Affleck is capable anymore of doing like a choreographed stunt. He's the kind of guy who just wants his iced coffee. He wants to go talk about movies. He's like allergic to that kind of situation, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question, because all of you guys are in long-term relationships and you're unbothered by this. Now, I want you to picture your current partner right now with his arm around the waist of his ex-girlfriend. Like, I'm with you. Exes can be friends, but that was a little bit more than friends with that physical gesture. Are you okay with that?
I think it was orchestrated. I think it was. I really do. I think there was, because there was even a moment where she's on the carpet and she's like, "Oh yeah, Ben, we're gonna take a picture. Yeah, just give me a second."
So you think that they called each other beforehand and were like, "Listen, here's the way this is gonna go down. We're gonna meet on it. I'm gonna wear a crazy dress that is almost gonna go up your nose to keep you at a safe distance, and we're gonna do one walk around, one pose, and one kiss."
I think they're going to say we're going to take a picture on the red carpet because we're going to. I think it was orchestrated. I think they got a lot of energy from that interview.
I think so.
Yeah,
and I
think
there's a cynical journalist in me.
I think they're trying to pump life into a dead thing. But let's move on to another topic. After some of the ridiculous looks seen at the Jean-Paul Gaultier show in Paris this week, a New York Times fashion reviewer is asking, can fashion still be provocative? Are these looks so out there that they're no longer provocative? Judging by your responses, they are provocative. So what do you guys think about this?
I mean, that particular show, that was the Louis Vuitton, was it? No, it was Gaultier show.
Jean-Paul Gaultier.
I mean, I saw it unfolding on my timeline and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I didn't feel offended or like seduced by it. I just felt like it was comedy. Like, I thought that maybe what they're trying to do is something like so avant-garde that they were generating humor. And I think that that could be a part of it. But I wonder if it petered into something that was a bit more childish. And we were talking about this before, right?
There's a great quote, the woman who wrote this, and she's sort of positing maybe like, she's a fashion journalist for the New York Times. She didn't say has fashion jumped the shark, but you're kind of wondering, maybe something's going on, because there's a very fine line, right, between gimmicky and genius. And when you see some of that stuff, you're like, what is it? Do you know what I mean? Like the idea, are we still looking at clothes, or are we looking at conceptual art that no one can actually wear?
It hasn't jumped the shark. The shark is wearing a thong and chest hair in the form of a bodysuit. I honestly think that they've just run out of ideas. I really think they just have no more ideas left, and they're doing this ridiculous. Like, look at this picture.
So are they doing it for clicks?
Interesting.
What is this? Guys, come on.
Well, they're doing shit. That's a bodysuit, I think. I think that could be a gender play. Where I do think you're agreeing, and where I agree with you, is there was this Maison Margiela show where there was this very fetishy kind of like mouthpiece that was going on. They were like a dental kind of thing. Did you see this kind of a thing? This one. And to me, this is very 90s. If you look up any video that Marilyn Manson did in the 90s, that they did this kind of thing, and I'm like, what is this? It's just fetishy. It feels tired. It's not shocking anymore. It's derivative. Anyway, you go.
I'm a huge fan of fashion. It's when I first got into this industry, I was trying to work on fashion television and Fashion File. Do you guys remember those shows?
I worked on fashion television.
So I have a different perspective on it. I think, the conception of fashion shows actually started in the 1860s with a man by the name of Charles Frederick Worth. And he would just gather all of these very wealthy people, have a private show, and women would prance around in very nice, expensive clothes. And I think a lot of us think that's what a fashion show should always be. But when you add magazines and shows like Fashion File and Fashion Television, I think the designers realize, oh, this is an opportunity for me to talk to a global audience and put on a show.
Yeah.
Right? So I think when we see these things, we're at home going, what is this? It's like they're putting on a show. And if you were talking to a sculptor or a painter, would you question what they're doing? We wouldn't question it. There's something about fashion that kind of ticks people off. Like, what is that? This is the show. What happens on that runway and what will end up in your department store on the floor, two very different things.
No, it trickles down. It trickles down.
No, I know it trickles down, but what I'm saying is if you're looking for what's on the runway to translate to what you're gonna see in the store, you're missing the point. This is a creative expression by the designer. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But how many times do you walk through a museum and you're like, I don't get that banana taped to that wall. I don't get it. But it is an artistic expression.
I totally agree, and I believe that fashion can provoke, it should shock, it should do those things, but call me old-fashioned, I wonder if you should still be able to wear it. Like the idea of like, even those crazy...
Like, that's not accessible.
But it's not meant to be accessible, what you're seeing on the runway. It's a show.
But it's not even shocking anymore. Like, it's just a Wednesday, honestly. You know what they need to do? They need to go backwards. They need to showcase heels that are comfortable, pockets that don't, like, that show our silhouette, and barrel jeans that don't add 10 pounds to my body.
Listen,
that's what they need to do.
That's a nice idea, but we're in a clique where people's attention spans are so short that you have to capture their attention.
So then would you
between
argue
all
that
the social media
selling out then if they're just doing it for viral
No,
moments?
I think they're just being creative, and I would never call them sellouts, because if a designer has thought about something and they're like, this is my creative expression, this is how I feel. Sometimes when you hear the backstory, you go, oh, this is what they were trying to tell us. And I think you have to do a little bit more research and a little bit less judgment about what you think a designer should do, because we do not do that to painters, we do not do that to sculptors or anybody else in the
But
arts.
we don't wear paintings.
Exactly. I was thinking that same thought. Okay, we have to talk about Connor McDavid. Everyone's talking about Connor McDavid today because he signed a 2-season contract extension with the Oilers that's considered way below market value. McDavid will make $12.5 million US a year, the same as his last deal. In comparison, last week, Minnesota Wild winger Kirill Kaprizov, so I was trying to remember, set the NHL record with a $136 million contract for 8 years, and that breaks down to about $17 million annually. Yeah, so do you all admire this move by McDavid?
Audience, for you first. You admire this move? Okay, I will say this. Connor McDavid is a very noble athlete, and the Oilers are very lucky fans. Because if I were Connor McDavid, I would never do this. And I'll tell you why. athletes already, we know, have a shelf life. I can't think of any other career where you're considered old at 35. You can't start playing at 40. So you have this window, and I remember hearing this athlete talk about professional athletes and the way they need to look at their careers. He's like, there are 3 stages. There's the very beginning, there's the peak, and then there's the pivot. The beginning is obvious. This is when you're honing your skills in the hopes that you will become a professional. During that time, if you are lucky enough to get there during your peak, you're supposed to maximize as much money as you can make, because this is a business and things can change. You can get injured, you can have a bad coach, anything can change that whole peak period. And then there's a pivot where you transition out, maybe you become a coach, an owner, or a commentator. Right now, Connor is at the peak to make the top dollar, and he is choosing to not take that money. And I'm just wondering, okay, so it's only a 2-year deal. Yeah. So what happens if he takes this 2-year deal and he still doesn't win a cup for the team? Right? Because 2 years from now, is he going to get offered the same kind of money as he's being offered now? Probably not. And what will the fans say? Will they be like, oh, well, he stuck it out for 2 years. We didn't get the cup. He didn't get his money. He'll never get that money. But it makes for a really nice story for a Disney movie. Like, I just think that it's a very noble thing for him to do, but I think he needs to think, and I think most athletes will be like, you have to make sure you make the most amount of money when you can.
Well, actually, it's not 25 million still a lot of money?
Yeah, like, are we forgetting how math works?
Okay, wait, we're not, I understand it's a lot of money, but you can't compare to what the average person is making. We're not comparing him to somebody who works as a barista in a coffee shop. We're comparing him to other athletes. And as you just mentioned, what was that guy? How much was his contract?
Yeah,
he should be up there.
No, but still, okay. I know you were saying that you think that he's not going to be worth
he might not.
I think he's going to be worth even more. I think he's going to be the most coveted free agent in 2028. You guys think this is selfless? I don't think this is selfless. I think that this is a business decision. And remember, for him, he's made millions of dollars. To him, success is not more millions, it's the cup. That is his success.
So what happened? Here's the deal. But you're talking in absolutes. You're talking like you know for sure he's going to win the cup in 2 years. You're talking like for sure he will not get injured in 2 years.
If he doesn't, it doesn't matter. In 2 years, he's going to be out there. The salary cap is going to go way up. He's going to make more than $100 million for an.
You think he'll be the same athlete and he'll be worth the same in 2 years?
Yeah.
No athlete can say that.
Listen, who am I? I'm talking about hockey like I know what I'm talking about.
No athlete can say that.
I will say that this is not unheard of when it comes to sports. Like, there's many athletes who've taken massive pay cuts. We've also talked about like actors taking massive pay cuts in order to facilitate a project getting done. And they do have an end game in mind, and it isn't a guarantee. There was the Miami Heat. That's a basketball team for
Love it.
Back in 2010, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh all took massive pay cuts, I think to the tune of like 15 million or thereabouts, in order to, again, make this kind of strategic alliance.
It's a gamble.
It was a gamble.
Yes. It's a gamble.
It's a gamble. But I think we still love those stories. And I think what it'll pay off in also is the admiration from fans who see this as sort of as a sacrifice of kinds. And I think then you can pivot that into, as you're saying, a book deal, a story about leadership, even if it doesn't work out. Even if it doesn't work out.
Admiration is wonderful, but you know, generational wealth is even better. And if I were him, I would make sure that I set myself.
$12.5 million is in charity. Like somewhere in Canada, a teacher is spitting out their coffee right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, but again, like I said, you can't compare it to what regular people make. We're talking comparing apples to apples in the market, and for what he's worth right now compared to other players, he is taking a pay cut. So we're not comparing him. You're right. All of us, we would all love $12 million. That'd take $12 million to do anything, but we're talking about what he's worth right now, and he's stepping away from that because he wants to win a cup for a team, which is a very nice thing for him to do. And I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just being honest.
Even for the gamble?
No.
Because it is a gamble. Like he's leaving money on the table
I put my body on the line, the concussions, the injuries. I'm not taking a gamble.
He could make more with this gamble. He can make more.
I don't go to Vegas to gamble. I go to watch concerts, and there's a reason for that. There we go. I don't like it. All right, so let's move on to something different. Way different. A woman posted on Mumsnet to say that she's worried her boyfriend thinks his cat is more important than her. That's interesting. Well, she writes that he won't shut the bedroom door when they're having sex and has twice stopped what he was doing to pet the cat.
That's
next level.
Disgusting.
That sounds like a euphemism for something else. So, do pets belong in the bedroom?
That's unanimous, I think, right? That was unanimous. Great, because I totally agree. Pets do not belong in the bedroom, and I unfortunately learned this the hard way. Very recent. So my cat, Thomas, we have had him almost for about a year. He doesn't come upstairs. I've got to carry him up to sleep with me in the bed. So, like the other day, Simon and I were about to sort of start making the time, and we haven't made the time in a very long time, shall we say. And so things got going, and the door was open, the bedroom door was open, and we kind of said, like, should we shut it? I was like, no, the cat never comes upstairs. I'm talking 3 minutes into making the time. Here's something at the foot of the bed, and he's sitting there like a little pervert watching it. It does ruin the mood, and I was ready to like just call it quits and just cuddle with my kitty, but Simon picked up that cat because, like I said, we hadn't made the time in a long time. And put the cat on the other side of the door, shut the door, and the cat was still on the other side of the door. No, he sat there like a little, just staring.
Watching.
At least Simon didn't pet him. Like, that's like the threesome no one consented to. Like, oh.
That's so true.
It's gross.
Yeah, you had a dog.
I did have a dog, and you know what? It was very awkward. I was also very strict about my dog being on beds or being on sofas. But you know what the thing is? When you're having the time, you're to the animal, you're having fun, and they want to join in on the fun, and it gets a little awkward.
It's their erotica. Like, they think about it. It's
they
like,
think you're playing.
I think it's their erotica, or they
porn?
in a past life they were human. That's what I got the sense of, is like, oh, we're tapping in. Like, I had a cat named Sally Hot Dog, and it was like you could suddenly see, and I was like, oh, you were a dude in a past life.
my God.
And like suddenly you're I don't know. So a man shared on Reddit that he took back the 10% tip he left for his server after she reamed him out for leaving so little. He said that she lost his drink order twice, served the wrong food, and vanished for a long time. So after she called him out, he took back his tip entirely. So is it wrong to take back a tip once you've given it?
Yes. No, it's wrong. You know why it's wrong? I know you guys don't think it's wrong. Because once it's on the table, it's not yours anymore.
Oh.
You put it on the table, it is the server's tip. You know what? Well, if you're so upset about this, tell the person why you left them a 10% tip. That's a real boss move, because you can be like, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. Next time, maybe you'd consider, or even better, call the manager.
Yeah.
Why are you no, the tip is there. You're as petty as them if you're taking it back.
Do you know what? But I wish I could be that petty. Everyone on the comments in this guy supported this guy because she sounded like she did like a very, very terrible job, and he left 10% as sort of the message. And then in front of the whole restaurant, just embarrassing him, and he did that move. Oh my gosh, it's something out of a movie. I couldn't do it.
I know. Excessive tipping, though, has kind of made me into a monster, I will say. Like, anyone else feeling so frustrated by tipping culture? Like, I can't stand it when I walk into a place and I literally go to a refrigerator, pick out the thing, the drink, go up there, and then they offer me, it's you just punched it in.
And the option's like 18%, 20, 25%. You're like, I'm giving you 25%.
I'm doing all the work. You're not bringing anything to me. I had to walk up to this counter, ask you for it, and I still have to stay at this counter to pick it up. But what am I tipping you for? I'm doing half the work. Let me go behind the counter. I'll just ring it in. Like,
that's right.
It makes absolutely no sense. And I feel like people have forgotten in the service industry that, you know what? Tipping used to be voluntary, and now it feels like it's mandatory. And they're kind of using this guilt and shame where if you don't tip, we'll talk about you. Like, I know for the longest time there was rumors that Michael Jordan, who's very rich, was a horrible tipper, and no one wants to be seen as that person. But I don't like what's happening. And I hear what you're saying. Once you put the money down, it does seem petty to take it back. But I think he's trying to teach her a lesson where it's like, I don't owe you this money. I have to pay for my meal. This tip is an extra for your great service. And if you are ridiculing me, why would I pay you for that?
I know, but do you think
that
that's
hard for my money? Why
would you ever not leave a tip?
I have never not lived.
What?
You did?
Guys, people are going to come for me. And to be clear, I used to work in the service industry, but like I said, I think I've become a monster. I recently left 0 tip or something. I actually feel
Tell me
bad about it.
Honesty.
So this is our therapy session. I was leaving a late night event. I was with my son. We got into a ride-sharing app, and the driver made me feel deeply unsafe. He was driving erratically. He was trying to get there quickly. There was so much stop and start, like heavy on the acceleration, heavy on the brake. And I said a couple of times, like, sir, can you just please slow down, whatever. And we got to the end of it. My son looked like he was about to throw up. So I was so stressed out, and my mama bear came out, and I I thought, this is an excessive amount. It was surge pricing.
Yeah.
I'm already paying more than I should, and I left 0 tip. And I thought to myself, I got out of the car and I immediately felt bad. But then I thought, maybe he'll think, because he asked me, he was like, is your son okay? Is he? And I was like, it's because of your driving, sir.
Yeah.
And so I just had.
I don't think you should feel bad.
Oh,
I don't
thank
think
you
you should
guys,
feel
because
bad.
I
That's
do
different.
feel a little
Why
bit
would
bad.
you feel
No,
bad?
that's
Because
different.
it is hard working in the service industry, and I do think, like, ultimately he was trying to do his job. I just think hopefully he thinks maybe a different way of driving is maybe that's your job.
Here's the
Make it
difference,
better.
though. You leave the tip generally after that interaction.
Yes.
But at a restaurant, if you don't leave a tip, most likely the server's going to see you haven't left a tip while you're still there.
while you're still there.
Yes.
Has anyone ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Me
I'm
too.
sorry,
I couldn't do
just
that.
couldn't do
you know,
it.
you're
You've
gonna
never
kill
done
me.
that.
But they're working on the fact that you feel that guilt.
Yes!
That's exactly
You know what?
why.
It's
And this
been
is why
rigged.
where we're at.
It's been
Where you
normalized
have-
now. I can't do anything about
This
it.
is
Like,
why
it's
we're
like, this
at
is
where
how
we're
it
at
is.
because people are like, you know what? You're gonna feel too bad to not leave a
Yeah.
tip, so I can say and do whatever I want, and you're still gonna leave a tip, and I'll still talk about you. And that's wrong. We have to remember it's service. That's why you the
I
extra
know.
service, and that's why you get the tip.
Just
I don't think you should
tip
feel bad.
well for good service, for
Yes.
sure. I don't want people
Not
to feel bad.
mandatory.
No.
Just tip well for good service.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.